Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon to everyone tuning in. We are back in the second game of the group stages for the VicaraGaming Invitational. We have LahmagelsTheBest going up against RizeGaming, and I'll say as usual, I'm Duke, losing my voice. Joining me as always is Sick.
Yes, wait a second, I'm currently... Okay, I had some issues with the sound, but should be fine now.
Well, hopefully I won't be losing my voice for much of today.
Okay, now I'm ready to go. Alright, so we're just waiting for the players to load in and get this game going. Lahmage is the best. However that happened. Rize playing with a stand-in. I think Reason or whatever that is also have some roster changes.
Yeah, I think the Dread Knight captain of the old Reason squad sort of. Also, I don't know too much about it, so I don't want to speculate. But still playing some. Well, I know Shoot is very, very sort of known in sort of the UK Dota scene. The same with Paul GG.
Well, we have like each team 2 players. Oh no, oops, at least loaded in. We're quickly gonna check if we can make this happen. So we will go for a draft and wait for that last player to come. Or maybe not.
Okay.
Great start of the day.
Oh, what a brilliant start. This is how you want to begin the Sunday morning, isn't it?
Oh yeah, certainly. I feel...
PC issues everywhere.
Fuck the technique.
So just obviously while we've still got the stream up, obviously yesterday with quite a few games go on, what team do you feel stood out for you the most?
You think you're asking for what team was the best in my opinion?
Yeah, or the thing is, or who surprised you really?
Let me think a little bit about that.
Well, also, I'll go into mine. Just PSL, Plaxma Tech Lament. Obviously, they took the game off Rize with some very, very committed rat Dota, and able to be obviously, and LahmagelsTheBest as well. They really did surprise me. Obviously, they did have a small roster change after the qualifiers, changing from Elite Players in Combat to PSL. And they had a sort of a fairly stompy game up against Northern Lions in the grand finals, but I think they really surprised me of how well they played.
Yeah, I actually agree. It was a little bit of a red Dota, of course, and I'm not the biggest fan of red Dota, but yes, they really played it quite well. Actually, it was a little bit comparable to how Alliance played against. Who was it? Cloud9 yesterday. I don't know if you saw the game.
I did actually miss that game. Oh, okay. We do actually get him into the game, so that's all good this time.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, yeah, I was a little bit
Radiant team back.
surprised as well by PSL, but who really stood out a little bit from that tournament for me was XND. I didn't expect anything from them, actually, and
Dire team ban.
they lost to Fall of Int and My Insanity, but the rest of their group they actually quite solidly won. So
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
they kind of surprised me as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they'll go. Obviously, once we get into the upper bracket.
Yeah.
Just
Radiant
going over
team
obviously,
ban.
the players that Dread Knight's got with him. Saying Shu, fairly sort of well known in sort of UK Dota. Same with Paul GG.
Paul
Dire
GG.
team ban.
I don't quite know him that much, so I will be kind of surprised, I guess, when he plays out whatever he gets picked here by Dread Knight. So we see the quite standard
Radiant
bans.
team
We
pick.
always have bans that include Doom, Panda, Batrider, Invoker, Tidehunter, Mirana. All these heroes are usually quite banned out, and we see a little bit of a pattern, like all these heroes being banned out, and they always leave a hero in the pool that they like to play around. So we're gonna probably see an Invoker or a Mirana coming out at some point. Trend Protector also gets quite a lot banned in the first phase. Ancient Apparition always first or
Dire
second
team
pick material as well. It's really that current meta we have.
Yep, and so I'd like to point out, obviously, we actually have three UK teams in this. Obviously, had Bronze, Fall of Int, and the Majors. Well, whatever he has right there. But they do have. I've noticed that the UK teams are the main ones that
10
really
seconds
treat the
remaining.
Tidehunter and Treant as first pick potential or ban.
5
always.
seconds remaining.
Then we had a game in the qualifiers of Bronze that the
Reserve
the two
time.
first picks were Tidehunter Treant.
Yeah,
They really do value these heroes very, very highly. I find it really amusing to see how it differs in between sort of the different regions of play.
that's true actually. I think a lot in the Europe scene prefer the Trend and the Tidehunter. They had big teamfight ultis. They really like to make something happen as the whole team, and I think the most Chinese teams try to create space all around the map. So
Radiant team pick.
I think if we had a Chinese team in here, we would see a lot of
Radiant team ban.
hard carries like a Void and a Lone Druid carry or that kind of stuff, and UK is even a little bit more teamfight focused, I feel. There's a lot more these kind of heroes what we just see right now, the Trend Protector and the Mirana, everything made up to walk as a team and make something happen as a team and not split up. You're certainly right with that. So actually,
Yeah,
10
and Rize
seconds
Gaming,
remaining.
they don't want to deal with the Lycan.
5
They don't want to deal with the
seconds
Rat
remaining.
again, so they just take him up. Say you're not getting him, and we'll see if they actually.
Radiant team
If they,
ban.
do you think they would actually choose to go for a Rat this game? Obviously, with the Treant Protector, you do have a very, very, very strong sort of team fight, and then moving in, obviously, with the Miranda who's the Moonlight Shadow to get these initiations off, even get off the overgrowth into
10
a
seconds
fairly
remaining.
substantial amount of the team of the players. Where do you really stand on that? Like, would RizeGaming
Dire
really want to
team
go
ban.
for a Rat this game, or do you think it really does depend on what the next heroes could be? Just notice that Dread bang out the Fury and the Shadow Shaman.
yes,
So
I would.
maybe he's fearing that as well.
Yeah, I was just wanted to
10
talk about it.
seconds remaining.
He immediately banned those red heroes, and
Dire team
I
pick.
think Rize is not gonna go for full red in that kind of way. They will totally go for at least some push, but they will work the push together with a team fight. So they will have a lot of damage output and afterwards have a massive push coming out with the Lycan and the Howl and whatever. I don't think they will dedicate the Lycan only to another lane while fighting on, like for example, fighting mid and just the Lycan is dedicated to the bottom lane getting 2
remaining.
towers. I think it's not always gonna work like that. Probably will
5
have these
seconds
kind of
remaining.
situations once or twice in this game, but I think it's not their main focus right now.
Reserve time.
Yeah, and they do actually ban out the Tinker, so they want to take fights around the towers.
Yeah, Tinker's of course always a big pain to deal with, especially in that mid-game stage when Dagon
Radiant team
and
pick.
Dagger and Boots of Travel, everything is up on him. He's becoming a real pain for the supports, of course. Red
And
King,
especially with the Dream Protector, like just the sort of the they wouldn't be playing so much Dota as just tower defense. You heal up the towers, and then you like have
Dire
waves
team
and waves of the march going through.
yeah, that's true. And what the Trend Protector does to your team, like if you're RizeGaming right now, you always have to fully commit to a push. You cannot say, okay, we're gonna work on that tower, and later on we're gonna come back and work a little bit more on that tower, because that tower is gonna be full again. So you always have to commit full to that push. You cannot just chip away the towers slowly, of course.
10 seconds remaining.
And so we get the Wraith King coming out of
5 seconds
RizeGaming. So
remaining.
very, very strong support at the moment. Potential for the carry position, which do you think we
Reserve
saw them
time.
play that in the carry position yesterday?
Yesterday I think it got banned out against them, right?
No, I think they played it in the second game versus Deadly Poison.
Oh yes, they actually played it. Yeah, I watched the game, but I think it was more to the effect that they randomed a Dirge in the in the last stage. I think they wanted to play the Wraith King as a support, and I think the Wraith King as a support is quite valuable. You have that stun, of course. He's quite beefy, and he has an AOE slow when he uses the Soul Ring, and it's a guaranteed ulti. So he's gonna use that ulti, and everyone is gonna be slowed down, and he's just coming back, and he can stun again, and he's beefy again, and gives that life leech aura to your carry. And what I've seen so far in the past is, for example, if your carry, in this case maybe Razor, is gonna be doomed by a Doom. We are not gonna see this scenario here, but you still have that life leech aura from Red King that works. So that was one of the first things we discovered back then when we played Red King as a support. And all this silence and whatever, if you would stand in a static storm, your life leech doesn't work, but with a Wraith King aura it does work. And you have all these little bit of additions with that Wraith King. It's quite great support.
5 seconds remaining.
I love to see a Witch Doctor. I just love to see it. And
Reserve
whenever a
time.
Witch Doctor works, and it just like works amazingly. And especially if you get landed, like if you get a nice overgrowth into the Death Ward, oh, it's painful to see. It is painful.
Yes, and in the later gaming stages, the Maledict is very, very effective against tanky heroes, and we have like 3 of them. We have the Wraith King, we have the Lycan, and we have the Razor. All these heroes are gonna be quite tanky. And the Maledict in the later stages of the game works wonders against that high HP heroes, because just in the midst of the team fight you are gonna lose a couple of 100 HP, of course, right? And if you're focused a bit, you're like half, and if the Maledict hit you before you get all that damage in, you're gonna drop really low from the Maledict.
Yeah, and it does do a lot. And it adds up quickly as well. And another thing to point out is, yeah, they're going to be losing the health, but also with the Wraith King lifesteal, potentially the Vlad's going to and they're going to be healing back up. But that means they could potentially be taking even more damage. We could see this Maledict hitting for like 500 potentially.
Oh yeah, that's certainly possible. And I think right now we are looking at an aggressive Shylane within AA Wraith King Razor. The Lycan being probably safe lane, since we do not really have any mid hero coming out yet. The Invoker is still in the pool. It's neither banned nor picked yet, so maybe we're gonna see an Invoker. Maybe it's gonna be banned soon.
So,
10 seconds
we've actually noticed this
remaining.
quite significantly, that Invoker's not being picked up, and Ember Spirit is picked
Dire
up.
team ban.
Well, Ember is a really strong mid, no matter what.
Yeah, and especially up against the push that could potentially come out of RizeGaming, this sort of the team fight, which they want to bring out.
Yeah,
10
I'm
seconds
just trying to
remaining.
find one hotkey in the...
5 seconds
Okay,
remaining.
I can't find it. Never mind, we'll do it after the game.
Reserve time.
Yeah, Ember Spirit has such a great mobility, with the Mirana also having
10
really
seconds
big
remaining.
chunk of mobility with a leap, of course, and all these heroes are
5
quite fast
seconds
jumping around the
remaining.
map, That Ember Spirit is gonna dart in with a slide of fist and maybe,
Radiant
jump
team
out with his ultimate. Mirana is gonna be able to leap around and all these mobility heroes are really strong against that Rize Lycan Red King stuff that is very stationary and will stun you and try to hit you down. And I like these picks.
Remaining.
Yeah, obviously we definitely say that,
5
and
seconds remaining.
apart from the Lycan and maybe the stun out the Race King, they don't really have much sort of CC or sort of chase potential going for them. They do ban out the perk,
Dire team
which
pick.
would, I think would work brilliantly for RizeGaming. Potentially put that, obviously have that up for the mid, and that would really help lock down some of these heroes. The silence would be brilliant up against the Witch Doctor. And similarly, Rize ban out the Magnus. You don't want to give that extra cleave to the Ember Spirit.
And Slide of Fist plus Reverse Polarity is just so painful. And actually, RizeGaming answers that big chunk of mobility with their own mobility. They want that Storm that is able to jump all around and maybe catch off the Ember Spirit with an Orchid, and you know, all this mobility is stopped by silence, so you want something with silence, right? So you're gonna get an Orchid up on Storm, pretty sure, and maybe a BKB afterwards to follow it up. But still, the Witch Doctor War is physical damage. It's still gonna deal a lot of damage if you do not stop him.
10
And we have
seconds
one
remaining.
solid stun and the Electric Vortex, I think
5
it's called.
seconds
Yeah, Electric
remaining.
Vortex. These are like the 2 stuns they have to stop that Witch Doctor ward. The rest is
5
basically
seconds
damage they have.
remaining.
So if this Witch Doctor places himself somewhere in the shadows and outside of the vision from Rize, this Death Ward could devastate the team. So they need to do some really good scouting with the Remnants and find where the Witch Doctor is in the teamfights, and the Red King has maybe even to dedicate his whole stun to just that Witch Doctor if his ulti is starting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. That Witch Doctor would just play so much havoc through that fight. Obviously, Lycan likes himself a
Prepare
tanky
for
hero
battle.
using that BKB, and he can just run through the fight. But Death Ward doesn't care about your BKB. So,
Yes.
just going to go ahead and introduce the side of RizeGaming. Standing in on the Ancient Apparition, we have Oops. On the Wraith King, we have Corner. On
It's Ecke, dude. Come on.
it's Corner.
No, it's Ecke. Come on, don't fuck this up.
Ecke. Ecke? Is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly
Okay.
fine.
For taking up the Storm Sword, we have Shining. On the Kunkka, we have Sursa, and onto the Razor, we have CrusH. And we potentially could see sort of a little Barney into the woods here, but a cask, I think, just does too much here. Like, there's no chance for the Witch Doctor to die. He could take some harassment,
30
but they
seconds to
knew that they couldn't do it because he would just throw out the cask, it would stun up the Lycan and the Razor, and then they would just be able to walk away. But they are going to get the tri-lane, like you said, with the Razor.
We've seen the Mirana already placing that ward, so with that ward already used on the top lane, it's a 1v1 lane, so I think it's quite a little bit wasted for, let's call them LIS.
Yeah.
And
the battle begins.
so this Lycan is gonna have a decent lane against Mirana. Of course, range against melee is always gonna be annoying, but I think the Wolves really work some wonders against low HP agility heroes. So coming up level 3, or I think level 5 better to say, these Wolves are really gonna harass that Mirana out of the lane. Until then, the Lycan's gonna have quite a difficult time. In the mid lane, of course, Storm is not the big of a threat in the early levels, especially not getting against the Dragon Knight with 4 armor up level 1, without skilling anything yet.
Yeah. I do like that here. I really do like Dragon Knight as a mid lane. Easily the best mid lane melee, in my opinion. Obviously, the stain you get from Dragon's Blood, the extra armor you get from that, so it sort of offsets the amount of damage that you take from ranged heroes as playing as that melee. Actually, just to quickly point here, we didn't actually introduce the team of LIS. So on the Ember Spirit, we have Dread Knight taking another Witch Doctor. We have Gino DeCampo, and brilliant, thank you, Paul GG, understanding that I needed to introduce his team, so we will just carry on doing that. Gino DeCampo playing the Witch Doctor. We have Shu taking up the Treant Protector, Paul GG on the Dragon Knight, and Day onto the Mirana 1v1 up against the Lycan. And I just thought something about this tri-lane. You've got Chilling Touch plus Howl. That's an extra 70 damage.
Yes, that combo is certainly pretty strong, and with that Razor, if Razor sits on level 2, I think with the Plasma Field and the Static Link, That's gonna be pretty painful. And I've actually expected the Ember to be mid, but then the Dragon Knight pick came out. I think Ember Spirit against Storm is quite an even matchup. I think Ember having a little bit of an edge. But on this safe lane, he's getting too less experience to excel early on into the mid game. I think that's a little bit of a problem for the Ember Spirit, but of course on the safe lane you're more likely to not die. So they prefer the farm on Ember Spirit over the experience, which is fine.
Yeah, but you're looking at the farm that he's going to get, and he's already getting denied out by this Rize. Rize is sitting at 3 and 2, the Ember Spirit not got a single last hit yet. And they're constantly sort of under threat from the sort of was actually. Wow. Okay.
On behalf of storms everywhere.
I'll say that I wasn't expecting that to come out so early.
No, certainly not. Storm actually taking out the Dragon Knight. I think that's quite hard to manage actually, especially with that Dragon Knight picking up the Dragon Blood. Certainly quite heavy on the physical damage resistance. The support's always on the from RizeGaming, always on the left side here. CrusH,
yeah,
a little bit annoying on the Razor now, getting him removing the damage from Ember Spirit. I think right now Rize are controlling this lane pretty well, even though they are like not killing stuff. They are still denying a lot of farm. Actually, the Observer Wards gets countered, so.
Yeah, and they are going to sort of move in onto the Witch Doctor, and they're just going really aggressive. CrusH even moving sort of down and even pulling the aggro of that range creep. That range creep going to go ham onto the Wraith King, see what damage he can do to him. Who will win this battle? I imagine it's going to be the Wraith King.
Yeah, your bet paid off. So yeah, interesting.
I do actually like the Wraith King's actually taken the lifesteal level on his level 2 skill. So now, obviously all of the support, like the supports on the cruise, and they're saying this lane is just going to automatically push at all times.
Yeah, and that's
if they're pushing under the tower and they could get a stun, yeah, there's a stun goes out onto the Ember Spirit. There's a nice cast that comes out of the Witch Doctor and the Searing Chains, which holds them back. And I'll say I'm actually surprised about the Ice Vortex for level 2 for the Ancient Apparition. A combination with the the Cold Feet and the Wraith Fire Blast. I thought that was a really nice combo that they could have actually pulled off.
Yeah, that's true, but if we see, we have Chilling Touch dealing magic damage, we have the Plasma Field dealing magic damage, and we have the Stun of Wraith King dealing magic damage, so that little bit of amplification might even be better than that 1.5 seconds of more lockdown, I think. Yeah, 1.25 seconds. I think on level 1, the Cold Feet can work out, but I think you're dealing a little bit more damage with that Ice Vortex if you want to, with all that magic damage.
Yep, definitely. And we've actually had to see the DK just had to port back into mid lane, so he's getting heavily harassed down by the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit sitting at level 5 to the level 4 of the DK.
Yeah, look at the creep score.
Up this. Yeah.
We have 19 creeps up on Storm, we have 10 creeps up on the Dragon Knight, and actually we have an initiation on the top lane by the Potom jumping on top of the Lycan and actually getting him with a double proc of the Starstorm. Nice pick off there for LIS to win that lane at least, because they're struggling bottom and they're struggling in mid, so getting one lane advantage of course is always something you really want to have then.
Yeah, the Mirana's actually playing really well, really well in this lane, sort of outlast hitting the Lycan, sort of always harassing him back at any sort of opportunity.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, up to level 5, this Lycan is really gonna have a pretty struggle up on the top lane. Playing against ranged, of course, especially with Mirana max ranged, dealing quite a lot of damage. As soon as she gets the face boots up, of course, she's already sitting at 75 damage, and Stout Shield or not, that's gonna be painful for him.
Yeah, the Lycables just came down into the bottom lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And right now, Ember Spirit sitting on 6 creeps, Razor sitting on 24. That really shows how they're dealing the pressure on the bottom lane. They cannot really go for the creep waves. They cannot really contest them. Actually, a cast coming out for.
Well, this could actually be a lot of damage. The Flame Guard's already out. They need to try and see if they can turn onto the Razor, but he's taking too much damage from the Witch Doctor. He's going to deal so much damage in this fight. The Tree Protector's level 1. No no extra damage coming out from him. The armor was onto the Ember Spirit, and one hit from this Razor will be able to pick off that Witch Doctor.
And that was a nice try for LIS here. They tried to bring the pressure, so they burn the region of Rize, and maybe come back into this lane. But the damage output and the farm up on the Razor, it's quite a lot already. And Mirana actually bypassing Razor here in the creep score. But I think Lycan is soon gonna start to put on the pressure on the Mirana. With the Wolves, we see Mirana already dropping quite low. Now that he's now that he passed level 5, he's gonna be quite painful for her. Supports are actually full up on life again, and mana is up as well, so we might see some more action on the bottom lane soon.
So we're actually going to see a nice rate 5 blast with the Vortex to do that extra damage. There's no actually mana for the living armor, and the Moonlight Shadow did come out just after the death, unfortunately. But
yeah.
something I just wanted to point out, they didn't give the Treant any levels, only just got to his level 2, and I just think you do want that leech seed. It does so much in an engagement. I think if they were able to leech seed up the Ancient Apparition in that fight, they might have been able to sort of slow him down enough to be able to sort of get out maybe a kill, or even the fact it would heal up their team.
Yeah, Leech Seed is a great spell. Actually, all the trend spells are quite cool, I think. And you want to have especially the Overgrowth, but that's like the problem with the tri-lane situation, right? We all have a level 4 Ember Spirit, and we're sitting on almost level 5 Razor, level 4 Red King, level 4 Ancient Apparition, and we have level 4 Witch Doctor and level 2 Trend Protector. So he really suffered for that time down here, and you really want to get the levels up on him, of course.
Yeah, and a little thing that I noticed, which I imagine is really a nightmare for Dread. And actually, they're going to try and make another engagement here. We don't actually have any support coming in from the other heroes, but they're doing a lot of damage with the Maledict as well. They will be able to pick off 2 heroes guaranteed off this fight. And that's a double kill for the Dread Knight. So, and we've also got the Mirana now coming in. She might be able to get an arrow. A nice arrow is going to hit now into the Starstorm. We'll be able to pick off the Razor as well. That is a big turnaround for LIS.
Yeah, that was a beautiful turnaround. The good thing for Rize is that Mirana TP'd bottom, so she has to walk all the way back to the top lane, which means Lycan gets a free space and can just do whatever he likes up there now. And of course, it's quite painful for Rize to lose all the heroes. And actually, that gave level 3 to the Trent because he died as the first, I think, so he didn't get that much experience.
But level 7 on the Ember.
Yes, that's like the big part they have right now. The problem is Ember is sitting on low mana and low farm. Especially in gold. He could go into, well, I don't know, maybe he's going for a Battle Fury or not. The support's actually searching for someone.
Yeah. What I was going to say before that fight broke out is the fact that Ember Spirit does really struggle with the last hitting. It doesn't have great auto attack damage, but also all of the creeps. Obviously, when you're fighting up against the tower, you sort of time it for the tower hits, and generally it's like obviously you hit the range creep once but the range creep's actually healing. All of the creeps are healing if they're attacking the hero, and it slightly throws off. I've seen obviously Dread miss a few last hits by like the most minuscule amount. Basically, because actually when you see an initiation from the Razor, they're all rotating around. They've got the Vortex to scout in the trees. Wraith King was around, but didn't know where the Treant was, and even though the Treant armor actually Treant armor's just gone onto the top. This is a nice time for them. Storm Spirit was able to pick off the Mirana, and now the cast start bouncing between the two of them with the Maledict over the top.
Radiant's bottom tower
that
was under attack.
I think that could have been quite dangerous actually for the bottom lane as well. I think if they reacted quickly enough, obviously with the Treant armor gone onto the Mirana at the top, could have quite simply picked off the heroes at the bottom.
Yeah, with that Ember being level 6 now, it's certainly hard, like being level 7, he has his ulti up, it's certainly hard picking him off. Because there's like, after the stun from Red Knight, he can teleport like wherever he wants. And there's just a lot of pressure on that Ember. He's sitting on 17 creeps. He certainly doesn't have the farm. Of course, with the 2 kills and the 1 assist gold, he's getting a little bit back into it. But the Razor is just way too fast for...
So much damage going on to the Sitters. We've got Ember Spirit's moving in. He's going to try and see if he can help out at all. He's going to be able to get a double chain off. But he's got no flame guy. He will be able to sort of just jump away here. Oh, well, the Plasma Field not quite in range to be able to get him in, and we do have a rotation from the Dragon Knight. He's coming in. He's going to be able to get, actually not able to get a stance. Maledict's going out on over the top. Coldfeet may latch on him. No, he was able to move away in time. But meanwhile, obviously, Catapult and all the creep wave attacking down on that tier 1 while this entire fight was going on.
Yeah, and I think RizeGaming, especially with that tri-lane here on bot lane, they're doing it really well. They're forcing heroes from allies down here, which they don't want to. They don't want to send these heroes down here because they want to get their farm in the mid. They want to get their farm in the top lane. They want to deny the RizeGaming heroes as much as they can. And this tri-lane already worked quite a lot for them. They made some kills happen. They forced rotations. Lycan getting away from that Ember Spirit gang on the top lane. Actually, the Starstorm is used and not getting a wolf out of it because that level 7 wolves, man, they're gonna
they regen very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Also, it's really LC. It's really upsetting for obviously for the DK mid. I think it's his first dragon form, and he wasn't able to use it to push down a tower.
Yeah, that's also a big point you mentioned there. The first time you get your ultimate up on Dragon Knight, you really want to push down a tower or at least deal a lot of damage to a tower. And that's mid tower, like the mid tower took 200 HP of damage. And look at the bottom tier 2. They're already pushing in there and dealing damage against it, so they have to dedicate heroes down here.
Oh, we are going to see the Trent in a lot of danger. He doesn't have that invis. He actually going to get the leech seed on him. The cast goes out, but there is no thing for him to bounce on. Storm Spirit comes in. He's going to do a lot of damage. He's going to pick up the DK as well. And now all of the extra damage is coming out of the Razor. He has nearly over 200 damage, along with the Chilling Touch. He just dealt way too much damage, and he's already got the mechanism up on him. And all these pushes are going to be very, very simple for them to pull out.
Yeah, Howl on the Razor, and he drained a lot of damage from Trent, and that was really painful for them, for LIS, I mean. And they will get another mid tower here. They will get a mid tower here. That's the second tower for them. And LIS do really lacks that kind of push. Of course, with that Dragon Knight ultimate, you really want to push down the tower. And this Mirana should be quite careful here. The Storm is rotating in with a double damage rune, and if she gets the Vortex, nice. He clicked it quite fast, and the leap came out too late. And that's another kill on the board for Rize. We can see what happened in this game so far in the goal graph already. It's going up to 7k right now. We have 9 kills against 4, which is quite nice to have in the early game. Of course, Razor is quite aggressive.
Structures are fortified.
Great hero to create some pressure, and we always have that Lycan. You have to remember he's gonna push quite badly when he gets his items up.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, and the Lycan, obviously, through that, obviously, like you said, he got that level 5 and was able to sort of harass the runner back, and the rotations that came out of Storm Spirit really did help him. He's got 1100 gold, he's got the medallion, he's got the flads up, so he does a lot of damage. Get a chain onto the Razor, so that's going to do a little bit of damage to him. The Witch Shot did want to get a cask off. The arrow also flew in, trying to see if he could catch anything, but
Dire's middle tower is under
at the moment, I think, obviously, LIS, they're really trying to sort of grasp at what they can, and it's actually good to see. Obviously, a lot of teams, when they're sort of this far behind, they don't want to take risks, and often I think you need to take a risk in this situation.
Yeah, you need to make something happen, and we actually have that with that Moonlight Shadow being popped. I think on the top lane we're gonna see some havoc gonna start here soon. I think they're gonna focus on the Lycan. With the Maledict, oh, he didn't even use the Maledict, he wants to go straight for the damage, and with the Steering Chains, of course, dealing quite a lot of damage. Storm TPing in, Ember Spirit's gonna be stunned up here. They cannot quite engage on him yet. Razor is still dragging a lot of damage from this Dragon Knight. 84 damage dragged that, but he's quite alone out here. The teammates of RizeGaming are following it up now.
He's got 10 stick charges and still has the mechanism. Now the rest of the team are here. He probably might not even fall from this. That mechanism, and now the DK now taking a lot of damage from the Storm Spirit. No extra mana, but the AI Blast is going to come out. It is going to hit over him, and he will fall from that. And meanwhile, the Ember Spirit running away from the walls. One more hit will be able to do it. Actually, the Chain Armor does come out just in time, so he's going to be okay from that.
Yeah, that's the only thing, the only good thing about having a low level Trent. He's going to be back to give you that living armor. But overall, a really good team fight for Rize there. CrusH on that Rize did quite a lot in that team fight, and he sacrificed himself for all the damage that came out. A really nice fight there for RizeGaming. They were faced up against the Moonlight Shadow, and they tried to focus on the Lycan. The Lycan died. Did the Lycan buy back? Let me check. Yes, Lycan bought back, so he wanted to come back straight back into this fight. And then the Rize did so much damage, and with of course the Eye of the Storm reducing the armor, dealing quite a lot of damage, and they had to focus him down. He was dealing way too much damage, and it took them so long to bring that Rize down, especially with the stick and the mech. That was just way too much for LIS to deal with.
Yeah, they're trying to scare out the Roshan, but the wolves are just following onto. So they do walk past the sentry, so now they know that a sentry is here for definite. Also, like we've got the sort of stacks out for the Ember Spirit. He's just not been able to go for them. Actually, just decided to able to go for them now. And how did you feel about the Arcane Boots build up for the Ember Spirit?
We've seen him struggling with the mana, of course. Actually, we have an engagement in the mid lane with an AA ulti and the Orchid on the Storm up. Yeah, that Dragon Knight didn't live long with that Ice Blast, of course. And actually, Rize is quite alone down here.
Yeah, with now the Death Ward on him, the extra heal coming out from the one more hit, and he's able to pick off the Ember Spirit as well. He's able to pick off the Trinity as well. Ended up 4v1 and just walked out of that with a triple kill.
Yes, that was, I'd say, quite pro. Of course, he has a big farm advantage, but he just walked into them. All the confidence he has, creating the space for the Lycan to really get that Roshan down.
Yeah, and then up top, they're also going to push down the tier 2 tower. So hashtag space created. Yeah,
literally, like space created for Lycan, space created for the supports to get some farm up, to get some levels up.
And they've got the Storm Spirit coming around. The Ice Blast is actually not going to hit onto anyone. They've got the Ember Spirit coming in, and now the Storm Spirit does sort of go back on his ideas. Oh, the Searing Chains actually did miss it with the Sleight of Fist combo. So unfortunately there for Dread, they would have been able to pick up those two heroes. The Storm Spirit is scouting out the other heroes. They know the Moonlight Shadow's being used.
Yeah, actually the dust is popped on all these heroes. Overgrowth is still not ready, so Ember Spirit is gonna be chased by that Storm with an Orchid, of course. Arrow hits on top of that Rize. Mech already being used.
Wait for it.
Rana got into that fight and then realised I don't actually have any mana left.
Yeah, now that big slow.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be a big Ice Blast hit on Rana and the Dragon Knight. They might still fall from this. Actually, the Train Armor is actually going to be able to help him and save the Dragon Knight from that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, but that big slow I was talking about earlier from that Raid King is so major in that team fight. They couldn't move at all, and this Lycan with the Aegis, he's just deciding, okay, they're fighting top, let's push this bottom tower, and that's the problem about what we've seen so far in the game. And yeah, she gets the deny at least, but that's another tower down in the favor for RizeGaming. They're really on top of their mind here playing this game.
Yeah, just really sort of solid play coming out from all of the players here.
And Mech is being already used, so he has to be careful. Actually, the Leech Seed hits, and even the Overgrowth use, but this Ember Spirit has to get out to not lose all his damage, and the Rize are actually falling here, but they used Overgrowth for it. Ember Spirit almost died for it. There's just so much damage coming out of this Rize right now. He has to get himself.
That's just absolutely insane. They see sort of the farm advantage for Rize is just absolutely insane.
And if you look at the tier 1 towers, all of the tier 1 towers from Rize are like a little bit damaged, and they didn't allow any push on their sides, so they're constantly creating the pressure, and Rize LIS is not really finding the opportunity to get some farm up, to get anything up, and That's really hurting them right now.
They're gonna go onto the mid lane, and a nice sentry being placed out by the Ancient Apparition. The Serum Chain's actually only hitting on the 2 creeps, not able to pick off any of the heroes. The arrow is gonna land onto the Razor, and a nice set of bounces is gonna come out from the Witch Doctor, but wow, the Witch Doctor just blew up. No time to even get up that Death Ward.
Yeah, he couldn't use Maledict. I think he walked into Crush to actually get that Maledict off, but he was like stunned really nicely from the Red King. So Razor is full HP still with the mech used, of course. But they cannot contest these towers. Actually, the Red King with the dagger is stunning that Ember Spirit, just creating the pressure behind their tower. They're like standing in front of their base, and there's nothing LIS can really do about it right now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And we actually see a Bloodstone gonna be picked up by Storm at some point, and that's quite interesting, going for the Orchid and then following up with a Bloodstone. But I think if you're having such a big chunk of kills already, I think you can just go for it then.
Yeah, and see, I remember sort of back in the Storm Spirit days where sort of Bloodstone first was like all the rage. And I like the transition to the Orchid. Not only that, it had components that were useful. Obviously, the Oblivion styles were very useful, even if you weren't able to complete the Orchid just yet. But it was more obviously a cheaper item, and you didn't get massively shut down. Like if your team fights all just lost after that point, you weren't going to lose the game because your item was still useful. A 0 charge Bloodstone doesn't really do anything for you.
Yeah, that tornado actually is quite annoying.
Top tower is under attack.
For them picking up that Helm of the Dominator and trying to.
A nice arrow that's gonna land onto the Razor, and I just can be in the sort of the heads of LIS right now and thinking, God, we wish we could engage on that.
Yeah, there's like a 5-second arrow on a Razor, and you just have to stand there and can do basically nothing. That's just pretty sad. And we have the Lycan egg is already expiring soon, so we have an initiation there.
Yeah, blinking from the Red King, the electric vortex onto the mana. Nice ice blast is going to hit over them. Witch has already fallen. The Death Ward wasn't able to help until the arrow is just going to fly over the top of all of them. DK did able to get his ult out, but wasn't actually able to fight off anything with it. And that really was really sort of the beginning of the end for them here. Even the creeps won't be able to pick it off this tower at the bottom. Will end up getting denied by this Ancient Apparition.
Nope.
Actually, nope. But meanwhile, they're still pushing into tier 3. The Ember Spirit's going to fall. The Treant's going to fall just very, very shortly after. The Mirana is just going to fall in 1 second, 2 seconds. Buyback from the Ember Spirit. Now we're stunning up the Wraith King, but he's still got his ulti, so he's going to come straight back.
The Maledict actually misses, so he's just going to walk out of here, and this range barracks is really going to fall. And actually another arrow on the Razor, but I don't know if Razor is the target you want to go for, and the Mirana is actually going to pay for it quite hard with him Orchid up, and the Dragon Knight is quite a tanky hero, but he's dying so fast to the Medallion and everything they have to offer against him. Trent just dying as a side note here, using the Overgrowth to get out to safety. Mirana bought back, going back into the engagement here. Cast being casted.
Yeah, really nice cast kick going over onto like he's actually taking a lot of damage. We'll see how much damage the Ember Spirit can do here. Actually, we'll probably be able to pick up the Razor, and I think if he had, I think with the remnants he could I think he could pick up 2 kills here. I think he could have, if he had gone for the Lycan and the Wraith King, could have been able to pick them off with the double remnant.
So LIS quite, let's say they came up on top after this long engagement, but let's see, we have no Rex left on top. We have buybacks used on Mirana, Ember Spirit, Trent, and if you have to use 3 buybacks 24 minutes in to still lose the Rex, I think the game is very well in the favor of RizeGaming here. And Ember Spirit is actually gonna be engaged here with the Storm, just coming from the high ground with the Orchid, and it's just, yeah, just evaporating the Ember Spirit. We actually see the Ice Blast coming in that was meant to be the support for that kill, but the kill just happened so fast. And GG coming out from the Red Knight, he knows there's nothing we can do about this game anymore. And very, very nice game by RizeGaming. They played it really, really well.
Yeah, also big props coming out to LIS. They really sort of held in there. And I think sort of they obviously the game really was sort of looking bleak, pretty obviously on the culmination of that tri lane, but they held in there. They thought, right, if we can get maybe a couple good fights, and obviously they weren't just able to hold it out, and it was very very close situation for them. Obviously, that is that game done. We are going to set up the lobbies for the second games as they are coming very shortly. So we'll go into a brief break screen, and we'll be back with you all very shortly. See ya.